Remember that teacher who made a difference? Now's your chance to say thanks with the iHeart Radio's Thank a Teacher powered by Donors Choose. Nominated Outstanding Public School Teacher to win $5,000 for classroom supplies. This week's winner is Janelle Shermers, who teaches at Rogers Elementary STEM Magnet School and always goes above and beyond for her students. Enter now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Comedies tend to be excited and delighted to be joined by the legendary Mark Rosen of Channel 4 Sports fame, and you're fresh back from paying your respects.
I am, Common. Yeah, we went to the funeral celebration of life. We call it both of them, I guess. For that's what they called it. Their family members for Paul Wiggin, and for folks who aren't familiar with Paul, an incredible career, both spanning the collegiate level and the professional level, both as a player and as a coach, and just a man of incredible integrity, and who left not just a phenomenal family, but a family of Viking supporters and friends that just spanned generations. I I had him on a podcast with Bursich last year, and he talked about being a teammate of Jim Brown. He played for the Cleveland Browns from 57 to 67, went to Stanford as a player, ended up going to the 49ers as a coach, Kansas City Chiefs. He was the head coach for 2 years, then went to New Orleans and back to Stanford. Was the head coach there from 80 to 83, which included, the infamous The band, against Cal, which he still didn't like to talk about, apparently. Then came back with Bud in 85 and was the defensive line coach, and then stuck around as their senior consultant for pro personnel from, 92 to 2015. Up until even a year ago, at the age of 89, 90, he was breaking down film and then giving it to the coaches. He had such an astute eye for everything, and great turnout today. Again, spanning the generations. 2 general managers. So the Quasey was there. Rick Spielman flew in from Florida for the funeral. Mike Tice was there. The players that had a big influence on, like Johnny Randall, Pete Bursich, Scott Studwell, Mark Mullaney. I'm missing, I'm sure, a few. Rob Brzezinski, who, as you know, is the capologist for the Vikings, and he gave one of the eulogies, and was just phenomenal. Karn and I got a chance to go, and I was thrilled to be there today, because Paul meant a lot to me personally, and just one of those guys that's just stand-up guy. And he even it shows, even at like 90, like a year ago, he'd say hello to me, and I'd shake his hand and be like, like Adrian Peterson's handshake. I'd be like, whoa, Paul, take it easy, man. But just loved the game, loved everything about it, loved teaching it, and like I said, when you see the players that were there today, and the management people, and all the other people who worked with them. You know all of them. The Bob Hagans and Tom West and Jeff Andersons, and all those people. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few that were there. You understand the kind of impact he had on the entire organization. So yeah, I was glad I was there. Thanks for asking.
And may he rest in peace.
Yes, sir. I passed me about a month ago.
The 2 local basketball teams on the men's side were both in action last night.
Yes, sir.
The Wolves, despite the fact they didn't have Rudy Gobert out by suspension and foot load management for Ant. Just another walk in the park.
Over at halftime.
It was over at halftime.
Yeah, it was...
Julius Randle was brilliant.
He's been playing.
Beranger looks like he's ready. He could be Rookie of the Year. He's trending in that direction.
The kid just turned 19. I was looking him up. Because I knew you were going to ask about it. But I watched a lot of that game until it got to be so one-sided. But I wanted to watch it in particular because he was going to get some extended playing time, which he did, and he took advantage of it against the Greek Freak, and had some other people in there that he had to deal with, and that's a nice matchup. And you could see he's far from a polished product, but he's got such raw skills and instincts for the game already that, I think... You
wanted him in Iowa.
Well, he was in Iowa.
Who?
Beranger. He played at Iowa for a while. He was been back and forth. He's been playing... I know you don't pay attention to that stuff, but yeah, he's been back and forth. He hasn't been playing. He hasn't been getting significant minutes here, but no, he needs time. But I tell you what, from the time I saw him in the summer league to last night, he's he's put on some, the man muscles are getting there. And he's just a baby. He really is. But man, he's got the instincts for the game, as you say, that can't teach. And that you can look at him, and I'm not comparing him with Wemby. I'm not going that far.
Come on, compare him to Wemby.
I'm not going to do that because I don't want to win the preposterous statement tournament this year. But I think he's put it this way: when Gobert decides to hang him up, and he's having a tremendous year, I think the Wolves will be in good hands in the middle. I mean, they got a kid like that at 19.
You're ready to make that declaration already?
Well, I think he's got the promise. I mean, you look at his shot making ability. His timing can be off a little bit when he's trying to block shots. He gets out of.
Do you sign him to an 8-year, $80 million contract?
100%. Except it won't be. It'd be a lot more than $80 million.
I guess it would be.
Yeah. Oh, it was a fun game. It was. I mean, it wasn't competitive at all. I'm sure Doc Rivers was not a happy camper, the head coach of the Bucks, and they had a full house there last night. And they were getting booed. At halftime, they were down by 30, and it pretty much, Bones Highland and Finch got to empty his bench in late in the third quarter, middle of the third quarter. It was over, Johnny. But yeah, and the Gophers, unfortunately,
it's a hell of a ball game.
Heartbreak hotel.
Hell of a ball game.
It was. No, it was a hell of a game, and that's what they've been doing.
They basically controlled the first half.
Yeah, they did.
Then Wisconsin took the lead. They led by as many as 6, 8, maybe 10
points.
I thought it was over. And the Gophers stuck around, and then of course they tied it with a 3, and then with 4 seconds to go, the Blackwell kid hits a 3, and at the buzzer, was a lot of fun. You love both clubs, I can tell.
Well, yes, I think more than anything, I'm going to the Gopher women's game tonight. You were just promoting.
You love that club too.
Well, they're going to have their hands full just talking to Guardsy, playing third ranked USC tonight.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Well, I hope you're right. Maybe the Barnes Magic will do wonders for him tonight.
Let's take a break, come back with more. It's the Common Man program with Common 10 to B and Mark Rosen here on the Fan.
Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. To enter the keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com. And let's do that right now. The Fan wants to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Just enter the keyword friend at KFAN.com now for a shot to win. That keyword is friend. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Couple 13-14 pass. Common Man program. So we're doing a major reconstruction here.
Sure are.
There are we're downsizing too, so there are some items that are being discarded. Lil B brought it up on Friday that there was furniture out in our old welcome area, where the front desk was and all that for people to sit if they're waiting for an appointment, and even some that was inside the performance studio that was just free of charge, whoever wanted it, and some people took advantage of that. We're also going to have a raffle, apparently, for a lot of items around here.
Here we go.
No, I'm being serious.
Oh, okay. Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And, but that
though there could be a bit that goes along with it, too.
That's why I'm bringing it up. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
The inner office email says, there's some, stand-up desks that they're not going to use anymore. If you want a desk at home in your office, yeah. So if you want one of those, you can get that in our items. So I am hoping Larry Mondello guy, Maury Amsterdam guy, Sweeney's guy, or any of the other junior staff writers or contributors can come up with other items that we would be selling. And of course, I'm assuming they'd be KFAN personality related and try to keep them clean. But we will include that and see if there's any really nice raffle items.
I thought you were going to say a stand-up desk because they need to work on their stand-up.
Now I know why you're not joining us in Rochester at the
That
Eagles
wasn't bad for at the top of my head.
It wasn't bad. Right. Let's just not say comedy's your forte.
Well, I brought down the house in Cato Ballroom. That's all I remember. You were like, wow, what was that?
Yeah, you sure did.
I did.
As you were reading off your cue cards. But still.
It wasn't. No, that was at the cue cards were at the other place.
I just found that amazing. It's like you had one of the staff writers write you a handful of jokes. One-liners like, I just flew in from New York. My arms aren't... No. Maury Amsterdam guy wrote you 6 jokes.
He had a couple
He wrote you 6, and they were all, I just flew in from New York.
No.
My arms aren't tired a bit.
They were KFAN related, most
What I'm saying is, I'm just using it as an example of the beat to them. They were 2-line jokes. Right. They were, I just flew in from New York. My arms aren't tired a bit. You couldn't even take the time to memorize those 6. You read them off a cue card.
No, I didn't have a cue card. I had a couple cards.
You had note cards.
That was for part of it.
No respect for the art.
Well,
none.
It's different. Well, I mean, you regurgitate the same jokes over and over again.
You just have it memorized.
Well, you have them memorized because we hear them every day.
Yeah, but let me ask you, do you think one Nate Bargatze or Bargatze?
Bargatze.
Do you think that he's not saying those bits the same way at every single show?
Of course he is.
Well, that's
all
what
those
I do.
Comedians do.
I'm a combination of Dennis Miller, Jerry Stiller, and Phyllis Diller. And Meat Sauce is a combination of Dave Chappelle, Howie Mandel, and Dave Attell.
No one knows who Phyllis Diller is in our audience.
No,
Speaking of you repeating your bits.
We have the Phyllis Diller laugh track, though. It's my favorite. I don't know if I could finish. That's the one that goes, ha, ha. You remember Phyllis Diller?
Oh, I could forget. She used to come on with that long cigarette.
Yeah, she did the kind of jokes where she would make fun of her husband all the time. And even
what's his name, Fang or something?
Yeah, I think it was Fang. I think that's exactly what it was. And she did something about, I wish I could remember the exact joke, but it was about her Persian rug, and she basically sat on her cat.
Oh, yeah, yes.
That was the kind of humor.
It was the kind of humor that Johnny loved.
Yeah, it was the kind of humor that you did back then. It's a little more cutting edge.
Correct.
Nowadays.
Correct.
Adam Thielen made it official today. He retired from the National Football League. He'll retire as a Minnesota Viking. Your thoughts?
Well, not unexpected. I mean, he tried to go find the pot of gold, having the Vikings release him after getting here from Carolina, which ironically ended up making the playoffs. But going to Pittsburgh was his last option, really, and it didn't work out in terms of team success. But Adam will undoubtedly retire as a Viking, and I'm sure he'll have his day next year at some point. They'll honor him. They'll come back. He'll tip his cap. He'll end up in the Ring of Honor at some point down the road. And he'll, forever be remembered as a Minnesota Viking. And, had some terrific years here. I mean, there's no questioning that. And, kind of in the shadows sometimes, coming off the years that Moss had, and then with Jefferson here. But you always think of the word dependable. I mean, Adam Thielen had some, big games and big catches, and
I think he's fifth all time statistically with the Vikings. I don't know if that's in catches or yards, but I think it's catches.
He and Kirk O'Chains had a pretty good connection going, and we all know his story, and it's a good one, and he got a lot of years out of it, and got himself a nice pension out of it. Good for him. I mean, he earned it. Had to do it every single year, and worked his way into a very long, fruitful career. So kudos to Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real nice story. Doesn't happen very often. Going from, Minnesota State, Mankato, and, schools like that. And they're out in the weeds someplace. That's where they have the scouts that find these guys, and
yeah, well, we've had two that have been very, even John Randall took it another step. He's in the Hall of Fame. But,
right.
I was telling this to 10 people when we were talking about the Thielen announcement today that, if some guy, I don't know who it was, if it was one person, two people within the Vikings organization that noticed him, if they don't, he never plays in the National Football. He just doesn't. I mean, because I don't think another, unless there were other teams, that's possible. I just don't know because I haven't talked to Adam about it. But just the point being, if there isn't somebody that recognized you, like John Randall, somebody said, I don't know who it was with the Vikings, maybe but somebody with the Vikings said, let's take a chance on this guy. He's got some talent. He comes in undrafted, goes on to a Hall of Fame career. So just, man, it can happen. It's like two really unlikely stories. Undrafted free agents. Just they generally don't make it.
I just mentioned the late Paul Wiggin. He had a lot to do with with Randall's development, and I don't know when they first met, probably when Johnny first got here. But Johnny, that's why one of the main reasons he was there to pay tribute to Paul today. Would always talk glowingly about the impact that Paul Wiggin had on his career. And I think in this day and age now, with we're going to get into the draft soon enough once these playoffs are over. And, with all the services that are out there, and the way that, back when, even when Johnny was playing, the fact that you couldn't get yourself, your resume on tape, so to speak, you have to, beat in the bushes to try to find the next Adam Thielen or Johnny Randall in somehow, some way. It's probably a little easier today because there's so much access, and a lot of these players are maybe pseudo agents are sending out tapes now to around the league because they say, "Hey, look at my guy. I know he's going to be a free agent, but we think we have something to offer you." Where before that you wouldn't even be able to, you'd never find out about these guys. There was no tape that existed on them because they didn't have the technology that they have today. So that has a lot to do with it in the way that people get their word out. So hopefully we'll have more of those. We've seen them. Obviously, that's when they sign free agents. There's a lot of success stories around the NFL now with guys that just don't get drafted.
A lot of success stories in local TV, local television too.
Is there?
Well, look at you.
Well,
undrafted free agent.
True.
Didn't graduate from school. Got your foot in the door at WCCO, and look at you now.
Well, that was a while ago. Yeah, Pavic.
50-year career.
Right.
Elder
Took
statesman.
a long time. Yeah. A little different situation.
A little bit.
Well, what happened with me, it could never happen again because I would have been kicked out of the door 6 months after my internship. They weren't even calling it that.
Yeah.
But now in interns, and you have to be, I think, at least the last when I left at CCO, that you had to be a junior in college, and people still ask, how can my son or daughter get into this? I said, well, you try to get an internship, and it's paid now, but basically you get in the door and you get 6 months to kind of hang out and do your thing, put together a little resume tape, and start sending tapes out, and you hope that some station in Biloxi somewhere, Mississippi, will hire you for $22,000 a year. That's the way it works. I would suggest not getting into the business at this point.
Here's to Common's point. I do the same jokes at shows as all comedians do, but I also throw in new and topical jokes. Like, for example, last year, the MnDOT snowplow's winning name was Notorious D.I.G.
Uh-huh.
But we got so little snow last year, it barely had any work to do at all. So I named it Mark Snozen.
Okay, Larry Mandela.
And I didn't read it off a card. Wow, he's ripping your work ethic now.
Well, he's the one that helped me create the whole thing, so he should be taking a bow.
Well, that was your first performance.
The first one
at Grill.
That was fun. I played off of the cliches about Manny's, the whole bit, the cue cards.
But then when you went down to Cato, you had your little.
But people loved it anyway.
8x11.
Yeah, I did. I had some cards, but they loved it.
Larry Mandela. Maury Amsterdam guy is really not happy with you.
Why?
Because here's what he said. Listen to Rosen suggesting that my contributions to his act, which he admits brought the house down, were limited to a couple of KFAN related one-liners. Maybe they'll add his cue cards to the
Havoc?
No, to the raffle we're doing here at the Fan for all the
raffle.
Items we're getting
I'm sure there's going to be some great ones you're going to be presenting here in the next I don't know how long.
We'll take a break. We'll come back with one more segment to go here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
It's a wild Wednesday here on KFAN. We're taking your talkbacks for tickets all day long. Just use the talkback feature on the iHeart Radio app and describe this wild season so far in 3 words. Winners will be selected all day for Wild versus Jets tickets tomorrow. Get the details at KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
So after John Harbaugh was dismissed by the Ravens, speculation began immediately where he would coach. And I'd suggested, well, is there the possibility he will just sit out for a while? And most people dismissed that, and apparently he is planning to coach. He's in the Giants facility as we speak. But there is some breaking news regarding a coach that is no longer with the team that has decided he's not going to coach. This is from CBS Sports. It says, Mike Tomlin, who stepped down as Pittsburgh Steelers coach Tuesday, does not plan to coach in 2026, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. That decision comes despite several teams contacting Tomlin in the hours following a split with the Steelers. That's according to NFL Media's Ian Rappaport. Furthermore, at Wednesday's press conference, Steelers owner Art Rooney II said Tomlin expressed he won't be coaching in the near future. Rooney said, quote, Mike indicated that he did not anticipate coaching at least in the near future. I think he wants to spend time with his family and do some of the kinds of things that he hasn't been able to do for the last many, many years. If something like that comes up, we'll deal with it when it comes up. But right now, that doesn't seem to be on his radar. So there is a guy, and if you believe this report, he says, I'm just not interested in coaching. I'm going to take some time off.
We were just talking during the break. Our understanding is that Tomlin's still under contract to the Steelers. And as I say, Baltimore wanted to hire him. They'd have to work out a trade. He can't just go sign with them.
Because he
Correct?
retired, he's still under contract.
Yeah, so
he resigned, not retired, but he
they could.
They own his rights.
They own his rights. They could say, we're going to waive him, but they could ask for. Yeah, so I mean,
well, here's what I thought originally when we talked about that. As I went down the hall to go get a cup of Mutaufi, I said, I thought to myself, maybe this was a way. Tomlin in the Rooney family aren't separating on. There's no. I don't think there's any ill will there. It's not on bad terms. So maybe by doing that was a way of saying, I don't want to coach her anymore, but I don't want you to fire her. This way you can get something for all you've done for me. I've done for you. If I just say I'm resigning, the only way I can sign with somebody is through a trade, and you'll get something out of the deal. Maybe he was doing that, but it just sounds like he doesn't want to coach for a while.
Well, that happens. We've seen it in the college ranks, seen it in the pro ranks, and guys need a little refresher. That Mike Tomlin, with his expertise, I think he would fit right in with some, pregame show or whatever it would be as an analyst. I mean, especially when it comes to talking about, specific teams. And, I think he could easily transition to the broadcast booth for a year and then see where we're at a year from now. I don't think we've been in the game so long. And I remember his days here with the Vikings and he was just kind of starting out, and what a coaching staff. I mean, you think of the coaches that the Vikings had with Billick and Dungy and Flores and not Flores, Tomlin. Now Flores, who's interviewing with Washington, I think, today for the DC.
He is, huh?
Yeah, I don't see him going.
Why not?
Well, concerning he's going to interview for defensive coordinator jobs elsewhere.
Well, that's the thing. He's not going to take that.
Oh, you don't think so?
No. Well, Quinn's a defensive coach there. I don't know why he would. I mean, Flores would not have the autonomy to do it.
Why would he interview there then?
Yeah,
because you want to talk to people and see what they have to say about. I'm sure financial.
I absolutely positively believe
the Wilfs won't pay him enough.
I absolutely positively.
I will tell you right now that Brian Flores will be the defensive coordinator of the Vikings unless he gets a head coaching job.
I will tell you right now that he's going to be the defensive coordinator with the Washington Commanders. Would you rather be a defensive coordinator? Would you rather be a defensive coordinator for a team with nice pieces, but you coached up those pieces? I mean, take Flores away, that defense won't be as good. With a quarterback situation that you have with an offense that can't score points, or would you rather go to a place where they have a young quarterback going his third year, is one of the best young quarterbacks in pro football? I think he takes he takes that into consideration, I think, for sure.
I disagree, but that's the fun part about talking about sports.
Well, why do you think he wouldn't do that?
Because the Vikings are putting him in a position financially and from a comfort factor and everything else that he likes his time here.
Then why would he interview?
Because you have an opportunity to do so. I mean, tell me if the Wild called you right now and said, "Hey, we're looking for that video coordinator job."
That is an apples to oranges situation
I'm
right there.
I'm just saying that you
if he had the money and loved it here so much, he would just say, "Hey, I appreciate all the attention, but I'm staying right. We got work to do here in Minnesota."
Well, he's a free agent. He has an opportunity to go knock on doors and see what people have to say. That's all it is. I mean, and I 100% agree.
But what you're saying though is, to me, you're doing that because you're trying to leverage your situation and make more money, but you were just saying it as if the Vikings and the Wilsons financially are giving him a lucrative package.
Yeah. Well, I think they will. I don't think it's on the table yet. But I mean, KOC said it in the news conference yesterday, basically.
Yeah. They say a lot of things.
Well, of course they do, but I'm just saying that unless it's a head coaching job, I don't see Brian Flores leaving here. Now, that's going to be really
tough. There's been rumors of a schism.
I think he's as good as gone. There have been rumors of a schism.
I'm aware of that.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Can you tell us more?
No, I cannot.
Why?
Because I'm not going to.
Oh.
There's just others. No, I'm not.
So you're hiding stuff from those.
I'm not hiding stuff. No, I'm not at all.
I really don't know.
He doesn't want to get in the doghouse.
I don't know what specifically has gone on behind. I really don't. But it's not enough to have. Was that the Childress Favre thing, a schism? Is that when that word came up? It's not enough to have him leave. No, anything can happen. Their coaches come and go all the time. And Washington may have such deep pockets that go, we're going to just fill in the blank here. We're going to give you a piece of paper. Put in what you want.
Flores isn't going to run his full defense under a head coach that's a defensive mind in Washington. Right. He is the defensive head coach in Minnesota.
Correct. That's what I just said. Yeah, I mean, Washington has a defensive coach. He's the head coach.
You want to believe that?
Well, it's the fact. It's not a speculation.
So, in other words,
but he may be.
Every head coach either has a defensive background or an offensive background.
Right.
Why do they, like, let's say why would anybody want to be a defensive coordinator with Dan Quinn then? Well, because he's going to run the defense. So why would you even take that job?
It's the same
thing. It's preposterous. These guys.
Why would people want to go to Dallas when you don't even when you have to report to Jerry Jones?
Dan Quinn has to coach an entire team. This is what guys should do. I think maybe our head coach should take a page from that and say, you know what? Having to coach, I don't need to be an offensive coordinator and the head coach. Why don't I give the play calling to somebody else? I think most coaches should turn it over to somebody else.
I don't disagree in theory about that. And the 30-year-old Uditsky kid who was here left. They left a big hole in their offensive coaching ranks.
Why didn't we hire him?
I don't know. I don't know. I wish they could have kept him. And now they have an opening. They could also name Brian Flores as assistant head coach because Mike Pettin's leaving. He's retiring. So they have an opening from a title perspective. Wes Phillips is still there as an offensive, so they can massage that any way you want. And I would be surprised if something doesn't happen next week that and maybe, he may shock me and go, hey, I was wrong. That he went to Washington as the defensive coordinator. I just don't see it. And I mean, unless he gets a head coaching job, I think the Vikings are probably going to be his best option, but we'll see.
Takes the Washington job as defensive coordinator. They have another poor season. Quinn gets fired and they elevate Flores. Maybe that's what he's thinking. Maybe he's looking for a place where he could get
but
elevated.
Right now there's 7 job openings as head coaches. Why would he wait for another head coach to be fired? Because Quinn's not going to get, unless they fall apart. This is the year that, this is,
that's what I'm saying. What if he falls apart? What if they fall apart again?
Well, this is, and Gessing was just talking about it. He just tweeted that out. Today's the first day that Flores can talk to other teams about defensive coordinator openings because it's been 10 days since the end of the Viking season.
Here's a text.
And he said he was going to explore the market, and that's good.
This one says, Rosen just likes to disagree for the sake of disagreement. It's exasperating.
Wow.
Why are you like that?
Why
do you just always take the opposite end?
Because you're my mentor.
For whatever
comes to that.
Never any conventional wisdom from Rosen.
Yeah,
he's just always got to take the extreme view.
Always got to take the extreme views. I don't know why you do that.
Oh, you're a funny man.
I just don't understand why you would do that.
That's all right.
I can't read that one.
Why?
It's just not
one of those.
Appropriate.
Oh, okay. Bad language?
No, it would get me in trouble.
Oh, okay. I got it. Oh, now I'm intrigued. Can I come look at it?
No, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
I had another question for you. I forget what the heck it was.
All right.
Well, what do you guys got anything? I always say, I don't know. We talked about the Gophers. We talked about the Wolves. We could talk Wild. I don't know what do they have next. They're
out today. They got the Peg tomorrow night, Winnipeg.
The Peg. We got the Peg's number now, right?
Yeah, they're not having a good season.
Yeah. After
last year, they had a very good season.
Now, to add to the Flores story with Washington, I don't know if you've reported this or not, but Schefter's reporting it. The Steelers have now requested a head coaching interview with Flores. So
who is
the Steelers?
Yeah,
which makes a whole lot more sense than going to Washington as defensive coordinator. Obviously, you've got a head coaching job with a franchise like Pittsburgh, where they don't fire head coaches; they fire them or let them go once every 40 years.
He was also in that building before he came here.
Yes,
remember he was their linebackers coach for like a year after.
Not 2022. Yes,
this one says.
After he got fired in Miami, yeah.
Dan Quinn didn't call plays for the majority of the season. He only started calling plays when their defense went south. He does not want to call plays. See, that's how it works in this business.
Well, yeah, that's
just like Dan Campbell. He doesn't want to call plays, but the offense went south, so he did. So Dan Campbell's going to go out and get an offensive coordinator.
He's going to have to, I guess. It didn't work out real well for him this year.
No.
After he fired Morton.
Well, they still put up really good numbers. If you look at their offensive numbers, they're still in the top in the league.
Right.
Their biggest problem was, one of the biggest problems was fourth down conversions just weren't like they used to. People, it's like that magic ran out.
Yeah.
Instead of making, there was a stat where at one stretch they were 0 for 7 in going for it on fourth down. The teams just knew what they were going to do, and the problem is they would do it on every four. 4 and 8, they're going for it. It's like, and they lived a charmed life for 2 seasons. It worked most of the time, but after a while that charm ran out. They ran out of luck on that thing.
Yeah, now they have to try to find their magic again. They still have the personnel to make it work. If they can they have to fix their offensive line now through either injuries, retirements, whatever it might be.
Well, I trust Brad Holmes. with the Lions.
He's had good success.
I trust him, at least to this point. That could change, but he's done a really good job as a general manager. I mean, and our guy here hasn't done as well. He's hit on a couple, but it's been a lot of trouble. So, just like, in Philadelphia, they're offensive line minded as well, and they hit on those picks all the time. So, yeah, you got to have guys that can play on the offensive line. That's for sure.
Man, this was I know Barrero's going to get into it. It's a dubious. Everyone has on this date. It's an endless thing. Yeah,
we played it already. The Vikings losing.
Yeah, the 41 donut game.
We played it.
I missed it. I was coming back from the funeral.
Barrero's doesn't have the corner market on cheap shots. Play the this is the famous soundbite from that game.
Sometimes when you practice, you'll set up chairs. And you run through chairs just to show zones and stuff. The Viking defense looks like it's chairs.
The Vikings defense looks like it's chairs.
There's two things I remember about that day. At breakfast that morning in New Jersey, Chris Carter's agent, because Chris was a guest of mine at that time, and Chris Carter's agent, was it Mitch Frankel? I don't know why I think of that name, came up to me and he said, Mark, tell your viewers we're going to have a big celebration tonight. In other words, when we get back, it's going to be a big thing. Okay, that's number one. And number two, getting ready to go on the field for my pregame show. Here's Randy Moss getting into a screaming match with the security people at MetLife Stadium because they wouldn't let his buddies get on the field, credentialed buddies. And this is New York, New Jersey. We're talking about. They're not going to bend the rules for anybody, including Randy Moss. So Moss was preoccupied with that for quite a while, and they didn't let him on the field, so he was mad about it. But and then I remember leaving at halftime.
Off the record before the game, there were several Vikings coaches that told a couple of members of the local media, and I've got this on good on a good source. They said they were so calm. They said we're going to beat the Giants by 3 touchdowns.
I agree with you.
That's what they thought.
I had felt like that was the same level of confidence. I think the Vikings were slight favorites in that game.
But they said 3 touchdowns were going to win.
Carter's agent was very
it's not that difficult to understand the schism between B-Flo and KOC. On the one hand, you have a guy who modifies his side of the ball's approach week to week in an effort to give the team its best opportunity to win. On the other hand, you have a coach who is visibly planed when he cannot implement the things he prefers in the game plan successfully, and yet keeps on going back to the well over and over and over with the same approach, and looked like he wanted to throw open his mouth when talking about how the team changed the game plan to get the victory over Cleveland. I think what he's talking about is Flores does change, right? We're playing this team, we have to do that. We're playing this passer. Whereas it does seem like KOC, he wants his offense is, we're going to throw the ball. We're going to throw it a lot, and we throw it downfield. Statistically, I think the Vikings generally throw the ball farther down the field than any team in pro football. That's what the coach likes. And the text messenger is suggesting that KOC isn't very, he's pretty rigid on that he doesn't like to change that. I don't know for positive, but it does appear that way when you watch.
Well, I mean, a year ago, all that was working. I mean, when they were throwing the ball over the yard, when Darnold was throwing the ball to Jefferson and he was putting up, Pro Bowl numbers and et cetera, until they hit the wall, obviously through injuries. And, in Darnold's case, the inability to find open receivers against Detroit in that game that cost them the number one number one seed in the NFC. So, I don't know. I don't think anybody was complaining a whole heck of a lot last year. And Flores, early in this year, I mean, the Vikings defense got trucked a bunch. I mean, they weren't getting any turnovers, and they didn't for most of the season. And now you can say that's just a matter of, not getting the right bounce here or there, but they weren't making plays defensively to shorten the field and turn it over to an offense that was obviously struggling. And Atlanta ran all over them. They, a couple other games like that. And then as the season went on, it seemed like he made adjustments. Flores made adjustments. The defense got better. They got healthier. Cashman got back. Obviously, Grenard was playing at a high level. Then Dallas Turner came on. Eric Wilson was having a tremendous year. Jalen Redmond. Those guys got better and better and better as the season went on, and by the end of the year, they were playing at one of the highest levels of any defense this side of the Houston Texans.
Number 3 in total yards, number 7 in total yards allowed, number 5 in points allowed, number 10 in defensive line ranking. Sounds like B-Flo knew what he was doing this year.
He did. Well, that's what I'm saying. It didn't start out that way. But it got better. I mean, I look for no further than that opening home game against Atlanta. I mean, I remember watching.
That's to the text messenger's point. I think that he's able to adjust and change. Right? This isn't working. I need to do other things.
Yeah, but also getting kind of the right bodies in there that he needed, and that takes some adjustments. That's why you don't need to say you play September football, then you got to play your best football in December and January.
Meanwhile, Vikings offense ranked to middle to lower end of the league in total yards, 28th.
Well,
Passing yards, 28th. Struggling offensive line, 27th in pass blocking efficiency.
Right. It was dismal. Hard to watch.
And so if I'm Flores, I'd rather play where I got an offense that's more competent and gives me a chance to win.
If you're thinking it's going to have the same results next year, if you're thinking that
change, it looks like they're going to give the ball to McCarthy again.
Well, maybe an extra year will make that. You hope it'll make that kind of a difference. They misjudged it this year.
Yeah, but does B-Flo want to wait around for a year?
Does Justin Jefferson want to wait around for a year? He has to. He's under contract right now, but unless he walks into to Quasey's office and pounds his fist on the desk and say, I want out. I don't see that happening. Not right now. He's got one more year of grace, I think, basically, before JJ gets a little upset with JJ.
Here's a question for you. Any updates on the Addison news? Is this the last straw for coaches?
I don't know. I think there's, listen, Quasey took a phone call in the middle of the service today. At the church, and who knows what's going on? Maybe he may have been ordering lunch. I don't know, but I think they're doing their little investigation. It's just the idea that Addison puts himself in these situations, which on the surface, one individual thing like what happened in this casino. I don't know how you can trespass at a casino that's open 24 hours a day unless he was in a place that he wasn't supposed to be.
What if he was in the pit?
That's what I'm saying. Unless he was somewhere that he wasn't supposed to be. I've never heard of anything like it. But when these things keep happening, and whether they're small or big, it's a flare. It's more than just a little warning shot. I think the Vikings are obviously doing their own investigation. There's nothing criminally involved to the point of they're going to have to dig deep and get lawyers.
Well, that we know of.
No, that we know of.
The story could get deeper.
It could, but it's also the point going, what's your threshold for dealing with this nonsense? I mean, it's literally a week after the season ends, and you're putting yourself in a situation at 3:30 in the morning of being picked up for trespassing at a casino. It's just poor judgment. I don't know what else to say. So plus he didn't have a great year. I don't know what they're going to do with him.
He was suspended for the first 3 games.
Correct.
Then he missed a walkthrough in Europe, right? Remember? He was supposed to show up and he didn't.
Yeah, that's, there's the diva kind of, that you associate with wide receivers, that happens in X number of places, that these guys have a different kind of mindset about a lot of things.
Though I do have an excuse.
You got to be better at it.
I think the coaching staff told Addison, we'll see you tomorrow at the yard, and he thought they meant they were taking a tour of Scotland Yard. And so
That was it.
Thank you. That really wasn't that funny.
And that's your comedy for the day.
Yeah, that's it. Always good to see you.
Yeah.
You'll be back tomorrow, I'm hoping, right?
What is tomorrow? We got spread swing. Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. I had the Texans. Yeah. I lost the other one, though.
Yeah. So. Well, Deuce is the one that can't wait. Deuce had a really nice week.
Oh, good. Good for him.
I was average at best, and Tennessee took a tough one. Looked like he was going to get a big take on that Packers game.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out.
It was the other game that hurt me.
And the other one hurt you.
I took Pittsburgh.
Oh, no!
But, I mean, look at the Packer one. You were going to make a killing.
It was a big swing.
Yeah. A huge swing. Non-spread swing.
We'll
see you tomorrow at 1:30. Tennessee, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit. Tomorrow, we are... we're back at 12 noon. Big Ticket, JG, there next year in the Fan.
Good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeart Radio app or KFAN.com.